Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
The energy revealed. Brooklyn to Queens, reppin' both hoods. Rob and CP, keep it fire, misunderstood. Cheer 'em all loud, let the anthem flow. Mets fans unite at the pregame show. From city stand lights to the skyline greens, it's the heartbeat of Queens, the craziest dreams. Rob hype on the mic, CP's the fire spark. Together they ignite, voices like the park fans drift in jerseys. Legacy bold, the Metropolitan story forever told. Turnstile spinning, the crowd floods the gates. This is family, no time for debates. Crack of the Batman, the roar never fades. Queens in the blood, it's how champions are made. Cheer 'em all loud, let the anthem flow. Mets fans unite at the pregame show. From city stand lights to the skyline gleams, it's the heartbeat of Queens, the craziest dreams. 7-line swagger, vibes electric and wild. Mets legacy golden since I was a child. Orange crushed skies, let the battle ignite. Ride for the home team till the last fight.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another Mets Amazing Pregame Show right here on the channel. How is everybody doing on this Saturday, May 10th, as the New York fans watch the Knicks losing about 20 points, and then everybody thinks they're going to come back, and now they're losing by a hell of a lot more. So, unfortunately, the Knicks aren't going to win Game 3 in MSG, but there's another team in New York that is playing at CitiField that's going to get the win today, guys. How's everybody doing? Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I love the disappointment from the lineup that I had and some people in the chat yesterday had, but Beatty, McGill came through. Beatty launched a shot to left center field. McGill hit a line drive over the fence. Lindor, hitting a home run to lead off the game. It was just perfect. Everything was just perfect yesterday. Clay Holmes, another 6-inning performance by our pitchers. That's 3 in a row, guys. That helps so much. And it even helps today with saving even more bullpen. While you got Tylor Megill, who's looking to bounce back from his last start against Brad Keller. I really think that the New York Mets need to find more consistency when it comes to the offense. I think we all understand that. I think we all appreciate the fact that, they were hitting a lot of solo home runs yesterday. And it was nice, but still needs to be a little bit more. Now, Juan Soto is red hot. He's picking it up. And I love to see that. It's a Saturday. It's going to be a packed house at CitiField. We're looking to win another series. We've been dominant at home. And by the way, guys, the Cubs don't look like a team that's 22-17. Can we be honest about that? They were terrible defensively. They had terrible at-bats, and their pitching wasn't that good. So, I was expecting more from the Cubs. And again, it's only one game. I'm not going to go crazy. But I just didn't feel like the Cubs – too many mistakes. I don't think they're as good as their record is. I think they're playing in a terrible National League Central, and they played a lot of those teams in the Central. So that could be explosive. They might be, but they didn't look it yesterday. I'll tell you that much. That's their first 3-game losing streak of the year. The Mets are the only team that has not lost 3 in a row yet. So they're the last one standing. They lost their final 2 games against the Cardinals, and then they lost the last game against yesterday against us. So they lost 3 in a row. But this is a situation here that you actually got to step on their throats. You got to be relentless. You cannot let them get any hope in this game. Again, can you really say that Tylor Megill has the edge over Brad Keller? Sure. Numbers-wise, sure. But Megill didn't have a good start last time out, and Keller is an all right starter, nothing special, but I want to see more. I need Tylor Megill. Give me some length here. Give us another good start. And then, again, this is where Tylor Megill starts to get into his ways throughout his career. I'm hoping he can provide that consistency that we've been waiting for a number of years now. Again, this is start 9, 10. This is where he starts to, have problems with his consistency, walking guys, not having good starts, having, 4 innings type of starts. This is where he gets into his little, hiccup that I worry about. And until he proves me wrong and Met fans wrong that he can do it consistently and pitch good. And I'm not saying he has to pitch a 2.5 ERA. I'm not saying that at all. Like, I would take a 3.5 ERA if he's consistent throughout the year. But he has not done that throughout his career. Until he does that, there's going to be questions about Tylor Megill. He will be the first one out of this rotation once Manaea or Montas comes back. And both of those guys have been throwing. So I would think in about sometime in June, one of those guys, if not both of them, will come back. Tylor Megill is going to be the odd man out. No doubt about it. So he needs to, this is like a Brett Beatty situation. Even though Tylor Megill has been a lot better than Brett Beatty overall. But this is a situation where Tylor Megill's got to give the Mets a reason why to not send you down. So that is where we are with Tylor Megill. Do I think Tylor Megill is going to pitch well today? I don't know. Like I feel like Clay Holmes has been getting better each and every start when it comes to length, when it comes to, getting out of jams, getting quick innings. That's something that he's got to get adjusted to as a starter. So as much as I don't like him as a starter, he's pitched well. And I still believe he's going to end up in the bullpen sometime later in the year, but that's way down the road when we have to worry about that. Right now, he's pitching extremely well, and he's getting better by every start. And that's what you want to see from somebody who's just, becoming a starter after so many years. There's not a lot of guys like Tylor Megill or especially Tylor Megill, where I'm confident in every start. Like, I always have a feeling that I know what I'm going to get from Clay Holmes. I'm going to get that bulldog on the mound. Now, I don't know, with the length and how many pitches he's going to throw, that's up to Mendoza and what they're going to have for that day. But he seems like he's a bulldog on the mound. He works on the mound. I don't know where we're getting Tylor Megill from every single day. I really don't know. If I say he's going to throw 4 innings and give up 5 runs, everybody would be like, yeah, I could see that. Then I could say, well, he can throw 6 innings with no runs, with 10 strikeouts. And you could say, yeah, I can actually see that as well. Like, there's too much each side of the spectrum. There's never really that middle ground with Tylor Megill. That's where we need him to be, right? He's never going to be great, and he's never going to be terrible, like, all the time. He needs that middle ground where he's pitched really well up to the, so far, but I just want to see the consistency that we have not seen throughout his career. Are we going to get that? Let's hope it starts today, because right now he's probably going to get 4, maybe even 5 more starts before the chance of Montas or Manaea coming back, and he will be the odd man out. So he has opportunities here to make the Mets question to keep him around, or to think about keeping him around, because it's going to be, again, the roster is shrinking here. There's not many guys that you would want to have this come off this team, but you got to make room for Montas and you got to make room for Manaea. It's just how it goes. So yesterday, when it came to the lineup, there was a lot of issues with the lineup, and there's a couple of guys that were in there yesterday that are in there today. And you know what? Why the hell not? Why the hell not? And I do apologize. I think I kind of messed up the Mets lineup. I do apologize for that. Don't look at that Mets lineup. That's a wrong lineup. I was trying to do it while I was at work, and it just didn't work out too well. Yeah, you can keep that 6-man rotation, because I tell you right now, I think it's going to be the stupidest thing the Mets can do. I don't like it at all. It just leaves another bad pitcher in the rotation. I don't like that. Like, do I want a starter who is potentially not a starter and a guy who's not that good as a starter, just throw him as a 6-man rotation just to help Senga out? How about Senga just go out there and pitch like a major leaguer and pitch every 5 days? Oops. So it is what it is. And I do apologize for the lineup. Don't look at that lineup, guys. I was doing it at work and I was trying to get it done before I got home. But let me give you the lineup. So that lineup was yesterday's lineup. Okay, I apologize for that. So I do apologize again. Hey, there's always a mistake, guys. Again, when you're doing it on the fly, it's gonna have mistakes. But at least I got the pitchers right. I got the records correct, so that's a good sign. And I got yesterday's score correct, so I'm okay. All right, guys. So let me give you the actual lineup, not the one you see on your screen. So Francisco Lindor is leading off. Juan Soto batting second. Pete Alonso batting third. Brandon Nimmo cleaning up. God forbid. Playing left field. Vientos batting fifth and DHing. Acuna batting sixth, playing second base. Brett Beatty playing third base, batting seventh. Francisco Alvarez batting eighth. And Tyrone Taylor batting ninth. So very interesting to think that the lineup that was, it was really similar except for Vientos in the lineup. Everybody else was in the lineup besides Vientos. So to see that Vientos is kind of staying away from the field is interesting to me. So I really like to wonder, why is that? Because he hasn't just been bad with the bat. He hasn't been great defensively either. His footwork has been all messed up. His glove hasn't been as good as last year. It's been a lot of problems. Now, I wonder if it's just letting him stay on the bench, getting a late at bat. And if you saw yesterday, what happened? He got a late at bat, pinch hit appearance with a lefty on the mound, like I said in the pregame show. That was going to happen. Get him mentally back in the game. Give him a mental break during the game and then be ready to hit. That was exactly what happened. Now, the Mets had a lead at the time, so it wasn't, a do or die situation, and he did only ground out. But it was just a situation of getting him mentally prepared while on the bench. And we talk about this all the time. A team day off is everybody's day off. Your mind's elsewhere. But when you get a day off while a game is happening, it puts the game into perspective. You watch the game more. You see what's going on. You watch the pitcher more. You watch how they're approaching your batters, your teammates on the team and in your lineup. That's what I think is a possibility why Mendoza did that. And again, with the DH, I think what Mendoza is trying to do is let him focus on the bat. Get him right. Because again, how many more fucking times do we have to see Brandon Nimmo in the cleanup spot? I am so sick and tired of Brandon Nimmo. Like, if Brandon Nimmo was off this team, I'd be okay. I wouldn't even remember him. Like, honestly, I would throw McGill in left field every single day than to see Brandon Nimmo do what he does every single day with the bat. He's just completely frustrating, annoys the hell out of me at every moment. And, I'd still root for him because, again, I root for the name on the front. Right? I'm rooting for Brandon Nimmo. I don't want him to strike out. I don't want him to look bad at the plate and not get hits in crucial situations. I want him to do good. But he sucks. He is a guy that has broken down within 3 years. He is a completely different hitter than he was when he signed on that dotted line for that big deal. Completely changed what basically got him to the big leagues, and what maintained his big league status was what he was doing that was successful. And again, I still think it's Brandon Nimmo being stubborn. I find it very hard to believe that there's not one coach. The hell with the hitting coaches. There's not Mendoza, an analytical coach, anybody. Steve Cohen walk up to Brandon Nimmo, slap him in the face with the check in hand, saying, I'm paying you to be the guy that you're not. Do what you were doing that made you successful, that got you this big payday. It wasn't because you hit 30 home runs, because you never will. Like, he's got to stop. Yeah, well, Joel, yeah. It was 8 years, $185 million paying a center fielder. And again, there was a lot of Mets fans that were going goo goo gaga. I hated that deal. Not that I didn't want Brandon Nimmo back, but I mean, come on. Like, that was a ridiculous offer. So it is what it is at this point. We got, 5 more years on that deal, right? He'll be a DH in no time. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at the end of the year. This is what he'd be doing. He'd be DHing. I would be shocked because I think, and somebody brought up the whole Rafael Devers thing. I'm telling you guys right now. One, Rafael Devers is not happy, and I don't blame him, to be quite honest with you. Like, he is absolutely right. Hey, you don't have a first baseman. Our young first baseman at Cassis went down with an injury. Great. Go find a first baseman. Stop moving me. You signed Bregman, took me out of third base and made me a DH. You told me I'm your franchise player. So you take me out of the field to be a DH. And, reluctantly, I did it for the team. But now you're telling me to go play first base, which I played a little, not a lot. Like, no, go get a first baseman. And you know what? I agree with him. I wouldn't, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I'm not mad at him. If he was a Met, I wouldn't be mad at him. I wouldn't. Go get a first baseman. Explosive. I'm not surprised by Bregman. Everybody just, looked at the numbers and be like, yeah, he had a bad season. But again, look, everybody talked about protection. What protection did he have? He was batting behind Alvarez. So it's not like he was batting in front of Alvarez. So he wasn't getting any protection. I love how everybody brings up the protection with Pete Alonso. And it's okay. Like, everybody has to be like, oh my God, Pete Alonso has no protection. Yet Bregman had no protection. And as soon as he has bad numbers, he's getting old. Like, come on. Bregman is an all-star caliber player. He is a defensive wizard. And I'm not saying he's going to be, 27-year-old Bregman. But I can guarantee he'd be a hell of a lot better than Mark Vientos right now. And probably most guys that are either playing third base or DH. So I really don't understand when it comes to Brandon Nimmo, why more people aren't going after Brandon Nimmo. I'm not saying, he still plays hard, right? That's what we love about Brandon Nimmo. But playing hard only gets you so far. When you continue to suck, nobody gives a shit that you run fast during a walk, right? It's cute when you're doing well, but when you're terrible, and by the way, how many times have we seen him running the first base after a walk? He don't do that anymore. So that's why nobody cares about it anymore. So overall, the problem with Brandon Nimmo is his approach that he does not want to change. And it's all blaming Brandon Nimmo. If you blame a coach, you're an idiot. Sorry to say. That might be a little too blunt. Too bad. You're an idiot. Because if Alonso can change his entire approach from last year, why hasn't Nimmo? Because if the coach walked up to Pete Alonso and saying, you know what? You need to change your approach. You got to start hitting the ball the other way more like you used to. Take your walks when they're giving them to you. And it changed Alonso's whole career and whole situation when it came to, is Pete Alonso going to be 2024 Pete Alonso? No. He is his best Pete Alonso he's ever been in his career. Just changing your approach. So for anybody who says, oh, it's the coaches, it's the hitting coaches, it's this, it's that. No, it's not. It's the player. The player has to want to change his approach. Pete Alonso put in the work. We saw it right in spring training. Me and Chris, during our spring training report shows, we talked about right away Pete Alonso was going the opposite field. He wasn't trying to hit home runs, just peppering the ball to right field, right center. That's what he was doing. And eventually, because he's so damn strong, he's going to hit the ball over the wall. And then when you really get comfortable, you're hitting balls 420 feet to left field. That is what Pete Alonso did. He worked on in the spring training. All I see Brandon Nimmo doing is swinging for the fences. And again, I don't want 20 home runs for Brandon Nimmo. What does that do when you hit the majority of your home runs are solo home runs? And, when he had his 9 RBI day, he actually looked in. But that's Brandon Nimmo. That's how he pads his stats. He is the stat padder. Like, if you see the definition of a stat padder, Brandon Nimmo will be in parentheses because that's what he does. He'll have a 9 RBI day. He'll have a 7 RBI day. So he looks like he's having a good season. But if you break it down, you watch him every day like we do, we know he sucks. He'll have a week where he'll go crazy, have about 10, 11 RBIs, just like last year where he went crazy. It felt like he had 75 RBIs by the All-Star break. He should have had well over 100 RBIs, probably 25, 26 home runs. But what did he have? Not much more RBIs than that the rest of the season. Yeah, well, Joe, that's the problem. Like, his 20 home runs would be nice when people are on base, but he sucks at that too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather him batting 280, getting those walks. I like that from him. Like, they try to make Brandon Nimmo into this run-producing power hitter where he never was and never will be. So I just don't understand. I hate it. It's annoying, but the Mets are still winning, right? Somehow, some way, with no offense from Vientos, no offense from Brandon Nimmo, nothing from Alvarez. You got Acuna, who's been playing extremely well. McGill has been better since he's come back. He's been productive enough. He hasn't been the same Jeff McNeil as a couple of years ago, but he's been much better than I expected. So he's been producing. Tylor has been producing. So, and Juan Soto is red hot. Juan Soto has been your best player over the last 15 games. So he's been red hot, batting well over 300, well over 1,000 OPS. I think he has 5 home runs in 15 games. He has 5 home runs this month, if I'm not mistaken, and it's only May 10th. He's red hot right now. He's seeing a ball more. He's dry. Even his outs are hit hard. So, and Keith, I think that's another thing. McNeil looks healthy. Like, I don't think McNeil is going to be what he was a couple of years ago, but he doesn't need to be that. I mean, I'd love that, but he doesn't need to be that. He's batting 8th right now. What does he need to do? He needs to find a way to get on base. If there's nobody on base and you want to turn on a ball and try to hit a home run, sure. That's, I don't mind when there's nobody on base and you're trying to jack one out of the yard. I completely understand that when there's nobody on base. That should be your approach. When you see your pitch, hit it. But too many times with a lot of these hitters with 2 strikes, they're still trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Your main job with 2 strikes is trying to get on base by any means necessary. Stop trying to hit the ball out of the yard every single time, especially the guys who are not power hitters, like Brandon Nimmo. Jeff McNeil's not a power hitter, but you see he's not trying to hit home runs anymore. I know, look, he turned on one. He saw his pitch middle in, and he turned on it. That's when you got to do it. But, Jeff McNeil has been slapping the ball, going for his singles, going for his hits down the line. That's when Jeff McNeil is at his best. So that's what we need from Jeff McNeil. And again, 7, 8, and 9 right now, I'm okay with it. And look, I don't like Acuna in the 7 hole. I don't like it at all. I like him batting 9th. I said this yesterday. I like him, Taylor batting 8th, Acuna batting 9th. But, if I'm not mistaken, I think Acuna is batting 6th today, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. So, and by the way, guys, if you're just tuning in, I do apologize with the lineup. I did the Cubs lineup. I was changing the pictures, changing the color format for the City Connect uniforms that they're wearing today, and I totally forgot to write in the Mets lineup. So I do apologize for that. So this is not the Mets lineup. Breaking news, guys. This isn't the Mets lineup. Let me give it to you right here, right now. So listen up. Lindor's leading off. Soto batting 2nd. Alonso batting 3rd. Nimmo cleaning up. Vientos batting 5th and DHing. That is something to watch out for. Luis Angel Acuna batting 6th, playing 2nd base. Brett Beatty playing 3rd, batting 7th. Francisco Alvarez catching, batting 8th. And Tyrone Taylor batting 9th and playing center field. So, Joel, what's up with CP? He's busy. Again, when you try to do a pregame and postgame every single game, schedules happen, right? This isn't our job. I wish it was, right? Me and Chris would love this to be our job. But again, we got jobs. we got schedules. We got families, schedules, lives. I know you guys only see us here, but we have things to do, and it's summertime. It's a busy season. It's a busy schedule for Chris. He knows that. I know that. It is what it is, right? I was gone for a while as well, and he held it down just like he always does. So yeah, Joel's cool. Yeah, he's busy. What are you gonna do, right? And that's why we talked about when we started the season that we're gonna do we're hoping to do a pregame and postgame every single game. But again, schedules happen. But we're trying to get at least one person on a pre and post as much as possible, so you got content and you get to chat it up with us. So Winker wasn't that much better DH either. I mean, he was kind of the best of the bunch, but I mean, cleanups has been a complete zero. It's so annoying. Jonathan, I like that. CP limousine riding, private jet flying, busy son of a gun. Hey, good for him. Let him enjoy the spring, right? Well, it's not summer yet. Spring. So far, right? But yeah, guys. So once again, that lineup that you see is the wrong lineup. I just said it again. So I will say it a couple more times throughout the remainder of the stream. And Joel, I agree with you. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to click the comments. That's not working either. So you know how it goes. I'm trying to read the comments. I'll say the name so you guys know where I'm at when it comes to the chat. Joel, I agree. I'm afraid that Alvarez lost power with his new approach at the plate. Well, is it a new approach? Looks like the same approach to me. Swing as hard as you can, even if the ball's nowhere near the strike zone. That has been his approach. That has been his approach for a while. It's annoying, but and it's concerning because Terens, who's been the better bat in the lineup, that helped this lineup very much, is now playing once or twice a week because Alvarez is playing every day. Now, I understand why Mendoza is doing that. Alvarez is your quote-unquote starting catcher, but he is terrible. Alvarez is batting fifth today. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. Alvarez is batting 8 today. I keep on looking at the wrong lineup on the screen. Alvarez is batting 8 today. Alvarez should have no business batting any lower than 6th in this lineup. If you're batting 7th or 8th in this lineup and you're Francisco Alvarez, who's supposed to be a 25 home run plus guy, you're not doing your job. He is in no man's land when it comes to this lineup. Francisco Alvarez isn't an on-base guy, isn't a speedster, isn't a guy that's, trying to work his way on, and he's batting 8th. That just shows you the lack of confidence they have in Francisco Alvarez's bat. And it's a major problem because we were hoping for, right? What were we talking about? Oh, Alvarez is going to come back, change his approach, be a guy that is going to hit, at least 230, 240 and, hit 25 bombs. With Vientos hitting 25 plus bombs, with Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and Nimmo. Holy shit, that's a 1 through 7. That's like 1 through 6. That's crazy. Well, it hasn't been the case. It's been 1, 2, 3 and pray for the best. That's what it's been. It's been, guys like Luisano Acuna. It's been guys like Tyrone Taylor. It's been guys like Luisano Acuna, right? Those guys, Acuna, Taylor, and really it has been, I would say, can you say McNeil at this point? A little bit, right? I would say that, right? It's been Acuna, McNeil, or put it this way, it's been Acuna, Taylor, and Marte that have been more productive than Nimmo, Alvarez, and Vientos. You can still win ball games, and you can be successful with your 1, 2, and 3 and Lindor, Soto, and Alonso taking care of business. They all get paid the big bucks. They all need to be the ones that the majority of the time win you ball games. But if those guys go cold, there's a pretty good chance that Acuna, Marte, and Taylor aren't going to be the linchpins to be have successful wins for a couple of weeks. You're going to lose games. The Mets are winning because Soto's red hot. Alonso has taken a little dip, but I think everybody expected it at some point. He's going to go through a little spell because, can't be red hot forever. and he's still getting his hits. He's still, getting them home runs. He'll go like 2 for 10 in the series, but he'll hit a big home run and he'll drive, get an extra base hit here and drive in another run. So, and that's what I like about Pete Alonso. He's going through a little bit of a spell right now, but still hitting a home run here, driving in a run here, getting on base here. That's something that Pete Alonso, with his new approach, why, when you go into a slump, you can still be a productive part of this team and help your lineup out when you're not hitting. Find your way on base. That's what Pete Alonso has been doing. He's still, even going through it a little bit, he's still taking his walks. And he's still trying to find his way on base. That's why Pete Alonso has been so good this year, because his approach, even while going through it a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was like 3 for 11 or something like that, with a couple of RBIs and a home run, but he's still getting on base. So that's a great sign. Yeah, Oliver, but why do we switch positions when needed? Why do we do that? Because guys aren't really starters, right? Vientos has been a 0. You can't keep on throwing him out there and expect him to just sit there and hope for the best. That's why Beatty's been there. Earlier in the season, we technically didn't have a second baseman with Beatty and Acuna platooning. So if Devers is traded, that means Vientos will be in the trade, and you'll probably have a couple of prospects. You put Devers at third base, that kind of solves your third base problem, doesn't it? And your infield's kind of set with Devers, Lindor, Acuna, and Alonso. Now, I'm not going to even bring the catcher up, but Alvarez too. So, yeah, Envy, I don't think he's a clubhouse cancer. I don't blame him for what he says. You got to remember, the organization paid him to be the face of the franchise. You're the star player. You are the face of this franchise. You were the third baseman. Now, he was reluctant, but when they signed Bregman, they said, hey, we need you to be the DH because where else is he going to play? Cassis was playing first base. But now they're like, well, hey, Devers, we know you don't like playing first base and you're not there often, if at all, but we need you to play first base because Cassis is out. Devers is like, you already moved me to DH, so you don't think my defense is warranted or good enough. So you put me to DH. Now you want me to play first base, which I'm probably not better at than third base, and I might hurt my team. How about this? How about go out there, do your job, and get you a first baseman? I love that from Devers. It's nice when players, right? A lot of Met fans in 2023 were happy that Nimmo and Alonso spoke up that they didn't want the front office to sell. But Met fans were okay with that. So what's the difference? It's nothing different. Devers is saying, go out there and get a first baseman. Get a true first baseman to help this team. Don't sit there and put, Joe Schmo and expect me to be, Cassis at first base because I could hurt the team. So I don't think he's a cancer. I think if you put him where he needs to be, which is third base, I think he'll be fine. He's an all-star caliber player. The Red Sox, he's the face of the franchise. So I'm not going to say a cancer. Again, I'd make that trade in a heartbeat. I'd find any way possible to get Devers on his team. Now, I don't know if that's even a possibility. I know that has been brought up by many content creators, and it's been, reported on these, low-budget sports sites, and it's been talked about on social media. I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, again, Devers can be disgruntled and say, listen, if you're going to play games here and you're not going to help this team, don't make me the pinata and put me, do you want me to play center field next if our center fielder gets hurt? It's silly. Yeah, well, Joel, I was talking about that today at work with a couple of my Mets fan coworkers. Shout out to Wayne, who we were talking Mets while we were at work. Just imagine with Devers hitting behind Alonso. That's crazy. That would be a crazy 1 through 4. So, and I have no problem with, exactly, Keith, I have no problem with Devers saying, listen, my position is third base. Was I reluctant when you signed Bregman that you were going to put me at DH? Yeah, I was pissed off, right? You told me I was your third baseman, and now you get Bregman, and you throw him at third base and say, here, go take DH. Like, that's a slap in the face to your star player. That's kind of fucked up. Now, Devers was pissed off, but he eventually did it. And he struggled in the beginning of the season, but he's been better, really good. And then you're going to try to move him to first base. Like, all you're doing is, throwing one of your franchise guys around. It's just silly to me. No, 18, I understand that it's not rocket science. I understand that. But you act like anybody can just play first base. Like, that's not true. Well, D-Mac, I'm not even saying that. I haven't said that. I would, trust me, there would be nobody untouchable. You'd be stupid not to give what you need to get in a guy like Rafael Devers. Because Rafael Devers can help this team go a lot further than Brandon Sproat, who might be on this team this year, who knows, or might be on this team next year. But there's no guarantee that he's going to be any good. Right? Tidwell was one of our top pitching prospects. He didn't look good. And I'm not saying he's not going to be a good pitcher, but again, prospects are prospects. This team is good enough to win. Don't you want to get better? Like, I would. Well, 18, not everybody can learn it. Honestly, I'm not saying that he's going to be a butcher at first base. He's played a little bit of first base. But I don't blame him for saying, I don't want to play first base. Go get a first baseman. There's nothing wrong with that. JD Martinez is out there. I know that's silly to say, but, he is a first baseman. I know he's mostly a DH, but he can play some first base. Right? There's other guys out there. Get a true first baseman. At the very least, get you a defensive first baseman. There's probably somebody out there. Go get a first baseman that is defensively sound, that can play first base. Might not be good with the bat, but at least the defense at first base is going to be there. Because if you put him at first base and he doesn't perform well and he can't scoop up balls, he makes some errors, what are you doing ultimately? You're hurting your team. So, but 18, I don't think he doesn't want to put in the work. He's played first base. Like, that is not the issue. Like, it's not Pete Alonso, who is a first baseman, putting in the work to be a better first baseman. They already told you, hey, you're not playing third base because of Bregman, so you're going to be the DH, but we just paid you to be a star player. Like, silly. Yeah, but MV, listen, he did, but you know why? Because the organization put that out there. Like, that wasn't a story that Devers brought up. The organization leaked that they wanted him to play first base, and then he responded to a question. Like, again, do we want our players to be honest? Because when they lie and they bullshit us, we get on them. But when they tell the truth, we get mad as well. Devers is brutally honest. Good for him. Because a lot of guys throw a bunch of bullshit on to the media, to us. And then when they lie, we're like, what are you lying for? We all know the situation. Everybody knows the situation with Rafael Devers. All right, so let's see. I know everybody's bringing up trade proposals now. Listen, I don't think the Red Sox are going to do that. And I wouldn't be. Would the Mets make a call? You better hope so. David Stearns would be a moron if he wouldn't make the call. And you know what? David Stearns, I could see him making a call and seeing, hey, what's going on over there? Nudge the Red Sox a little bit. Hey, what do you want? What are you thinking here? Let's pick your brain a little bit. So I get that. So, but again, if that happens, we'll talk about that then. But right now, we got a chance of winning the series here against the Chicago Cubs. Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, that lineup is wrong. That's on the screen again. I told you my story. I was doing it at work, trying to figure it out. And, of course, I forgot the lineup. I got the Cubs lineup correct because I was focused on getting the lineup for the Cubs right and changing the theme and all that for the City Connect, and then I forget the stupid lineup. So that's on me. What an idiot. Apologize for that. But one more time, guys, the lineup for the New York Mets. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, obviously your 1, 2, 3. Brandon Nimmo cleaning up, playing left field. Mark Vientos batting fifth. but he's DH. Interesting. Acuna's batting 6th, playing second base. Brett Beatty, again, playing third base, batting 7th. Francisco Alvarez catching, batting 8th. And Tyrone Taylor playing center field and batting 9th. Yeah, Mauricio's not going anywhere. I truly believe when Mauricio is ready to go and they feel comfortable with him being healthy, I don't even think he has to hit in the minors. I think you get him healthy. You see he can play 9 innings for, 5 out of 6 days. I'm going to tell you this right now. It can be a whole Brett Beatty Vientos situation like last year when it comes to Vientos and Mauricio coming up and taking the job. I see it so quickly. I see that happening because I think David Stearns loves Ronnie Mauricio. Anytime he talks about him, man, you can see his eyes glowing. And I think as soon as Mauricio is ready, he's going to be up with this team. Now, it depends on what's going to happen. If Vientos still sucks, there's a possibility they might send him down to try to get him right. Keep Beatty up here, who can play second, third, and, pinch hit every now and then as well. They could do that. Because, again, Vientos is hurting his team right now. There is no doubt about that. So, we got Tylor Megill on the mound. The Mets are going for another series win at CitiField where they've been just dominating teams at home. It's going to be packed. If I did, I must have got about 27 messages from friends that are at CitiField with the long lines because it's the Owen Diaz bobblehead. The lines were insane. If you've been to CitiField, the line starts in the front gates and goes all the way back. Now, if you know where Shea's home plate is, the line is going even further back than that. So the lines are crazy long. So it's a Saturday night before Mother's Day, Saturday night game. It's going to be a ton of people there. Wouldn't be surprised if you hear 40,000 people there tonight. The fans are going to be crazy. You heard the fans early on. And by the way, guys, did you hear the walk-up song for Francisco Lindor other than My Girl? I loved it because I was like, I turned it on and I was watching the game. I'm like, wait a second. And because there was either a pitching change or a mound visit, and they were blasting the song. I'm like, why are we playing that song? And then I realized it's his, other walk-up song. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell? I was like, ain't no mountain high enough. I'm like, all right, okay, I like it. I can deal with that. So I still, again, My Girl is still great. Everybody sings along to that. Yeah, D-Mac, I agree. Like, I like to change up a little bit. But again, if you start struggling, you're slumping, My Girl's every at bat. Like, let's go. All right, guys. So, Mets lineup one more time before we call it quits. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Vientos, DHing. Acuna, Beatty playing third base. Alvarez and Taylor to round up your lineup, guys. So, Tylor Megill on the mound. What do we want to see from Tylor Megill? Length. Consistency. Don't blow up. That 4th inning is still his kryptonite. That's where he either does well or gets into trouble. The 4th inning is kind of line of demarcation. Either it's going to be a good start or it's going to be a shitty start for Tylor Megill. This is where he starts to get in his inconsistency phase that we worry about with Tylor Megill throughout his career. Can he remain good and be consistent, and give us 5+ innings, get us to the 6th inning, 3 6 innings starts in a row. Peterson, Senga, Holmes. Keep that trend going. You keep your bullpen rested enough. You keep them a little bit more healthier, and you don't need 5 or 6 guys to finish out a game. With that said, guys, I want to thank you for watching the Amazing Mets pregame show right here on the channel. After the Mets game, I will be doing a postgame show tonight. So get ready, hang out. Before you go, guys, once I end this stream, it's going to connect you right to the postgame stream. Hit that like button early, guys. The more likes we get, the more it gets to the top of the list on YouTube and the content you're trying to watch, guys. So have a good night, guys. Enjoy the game. Let's go Mets. And hopefully we're talking about a Mets win on the postgame, guys. Enjoy the game, guys. Let's go Mets.
7 train rumble, headed to the field. Orange and blue vibes, the energy revealed. Brooklyn to Queens, repping both hoods. Rob and CP, keep it fire, misunderstood. Cheer 'em all loud, let the anthem flow. Mets fans unite.